Hello everyone, good evening and welcome back to the Masters Championship. Tonight we are around, I would say, pretty much a shithole of a track that is going to be Zandvoort. I don't believe they've done it in the real F1, so they did miss it out because of Corona, so we are going to be doing it here this evening. And as you can see, it's a wet track but we're on dry tyres, so it's a bit of a strange one at the moment, but there only has been 3 lap times, so it's making me assume that the track conditions are going to get a lot better. And Matt is currently on pole with a 15.8 and he's got a massive gap to the matter of 16.5, and then you've got Maxtef who's coming in from FTRL just to do a bit of a fun race for the night, so appreciate him coming in, and as well as Def Chip as well. Man who beat me to pole position on Wednesday night is also coming in, so it's just a bit of a fun race for these guys, especially on a Friday night because they probably are at nothing else, so hopefully they do enjoy themselves. But there's not that many drivers out on track at the moment, so pretty much we'll see. There's a few drivers going on the mediums, so this is just, it's going to be crap. It's going to be not great conditions throughout the rest of this qualifying. I don't think anybody's going to be getting into maybe even the low 14s. I see, Chubbs is round. That's definitely on the that's definitely the medium tires. Oh, he's in the wall, but I don't think he's broke his. Don't think he's damaged the wheel. No, he hasn't. He's managed to save it. That's just the conditions. As Joham's looking to invite, so we'll send Joham a quick invite to the lobby. There he's there. So Joham is in. Let's hopefully be at Casper. So yeah, it's going to make pretty. I'm going to see how Scuba's going to get on in the mediums, because if Chubbs is spinning it out of the last corner in the mediums, I wonder how Scuba's going to get on. And to be fair, at the moment on his outlap, he does look okay, so he must have a stable enough setup. It's very interesting in these conditions, because would you go for a bit more of a wet setup, considering the fact that it is wet, and you're not going to, like, a dry setup around here, especially on these slippery conditions, is going to be very hard for all the drivers. But we'll see. We'll keep him on board with Scuba just to see how he gets on, as there's a car ahead of him. I do believe that is that Beastas? It is Beastas, and he's currently purple through the second sector, so how's Beastas going to get on, the championship leader? We'll come to that in a few moments, where he is currently 1 point ahead of Matt Tybus after Matt having a shocking race last week. But Beastas comes into the pits, so he mustn't have been happy with his lap time. And we'll go with Scuba to see how he gets on in the medium tyres as he goes into turn 1. Third gear down the second, short shift into third. To be fair, traction was pretty decent out of turn 1, up in the turn 2, turn 3. Had to lift off the throttle a wee bit into a very tricky hairpin, but he is in second gear up in the third. Traction can be very bad out of this corner, but he does seem to get decent traction out of it. And now they're just long ride up the hill. Very tricky section of track, very high speed part of the sector. He's saying that you would usually go 6th, you maybe even keep it in 7th, but because of these conditions he had to keep it down in 5th. But to be fair, the rain has stopped, so the conditions are going to get better, so maybe we will see the guys maybe in the 9s, maybe the 8s, depending on how quickly the conditions get up. But you see Scuba back end just very, very, very twitchy. But in for still a okay lap, he's still improving. So he goes up now into this second sector split. He's currently purple, so it's to be expected with the conditions being better. Preferred traction, clips the curb perfectly, beautiful exit off to the last. Now coming into the last corner, very tricky part, because if you hit that curb you can invalidate your lap, but Scuba absolutely nails it brilliantly, and he comes around the last corner now. This is where Chubb spun, but Scuba's going to do it perfectly as he comes across the line, runs out of ERS as well, and he's going to pump in a 111.9, and Whisker actually goes ahead of him with a 111.8, so that did not pop up on the screen, so I did miss that, as there's going to be a few other drivers now on a lap. I do believe Coutinho is only starting his. Dobby's only starting his as well. Max Dev is currently 2.4 seconds up, so we'll see how Max Dev is going to get on. So now into the hairpin. Doesn't clip the curb as much as Scuba done, but he gets a good bit of turning, good bit of traction. As you can see, he doesn't have any hands on the steering wheel, which is quite fun. But he into the last corner now, beautiful bit of traction. Oh, it was very tentative on the turning. That's a pad turn in there, so it is that he comes out across the start finish line. Is he going to go ahead of Whisker? He isn't, but he's going to go into that 12-1, which is only a couple of tenths off, but the track conditions are going to get a lot faster for everybody. Coutinho as well, he's only recently starting his lap, so Dobby's going to be the next person I would assume to cross the line. I'll have to keep an eye on Dobby to see how he gets on. Into the last corner, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful exit from Dobby. Last corner, pouring himself the whole way down to the start finish line. ERS, he's run out of ERS coming to the end of it, and he has pumps in a 19.9, so the lap times are starting to fall now, as that was a spin. I do believe that might have been Adamako. Was that Adamako? It was Adamako, so he did spin on his out lap. Beastaz is currently going. Yarham's got himself into the session. Coutinho, oh, he's Adam's held him up quite a bit. That's so unfortunate for Giginho. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if Adam was in AI mode or something. But I don't think there's anybody else close to that lap. I do believe it actually is that Chubbs maybe? It is, it's Captain Chubbs. He's going to come across the start finish line. What's Chubbs going to do after he spun out of the last corner? He's going to go across the line with a 9.3 and go 2 tenths quicker than Matt Tybus. So as I was saying, these conditions are just going to get quicker and quicker. Lap times are just going to fall. Funky Chicken's coming across the line. No, he's not. He's going into the pits. As that is a Haas, I do believe, coming around the last corner. I don't know who that is. That's Max Dev. I don't know if he's coming. He's going into the pits. We have an AlphaTauri, which is going to be Beastas. He's going to finish his lap, see how he gets on, because he needs to out-qualify Matt, because it's going to be a very close championship between them all. And at the moment, he does go pole position with a 9.2, so for Chubbs, his lap time's not too far off, so Chubbs might have a bit of pace around this track, which is definitely what you want to see as Dobby comes into the pits. Who else have we got? Matt. I assume Matt's going to come into the pits now as well. As we also have Chubbs is not coming into Chubbs is not going again, but I do believe Kelsper is the man we need to watch out for, because this man's been very dominant since he's raced. Locks up. He's been complaining about force feedback going, which is, I've experienced it as well. The force feedback does go, particularly around this track. For me, it goes every track, but for him, because he's on lower, he's able to feel it. Or still able to last a lot longer than it is for me. But he is going to come across the line. This is going to be into the 8s. You bet it's going to be in the 8s. It's going to be an 8.5, and it's comfortably 7 tenths quicker than Beastas. Look at that for him lap time. Look at that. Is that going to be beaten by anybody? It's going to be very hard. Before we still have Kevin to come out. We still have Paco to come out. We've also still got Merck as well, because I know Merck's pretty decent around here as well. So there's still quite a few number of drivers that can't beat that. I think, oh, and Yarham, he's out. That's what happens when he just literally joins the session straight into the wall, especially in the mediums. Definitely not the tyres to be on, but I don't even think Yarham wanted to even get a lap. Maybe he only made a few corners, so that's a bit unfortunate. That's not what he wants. Anyway, but I do believe there's going to be a lot of drivers just in the pits at the moment. So I just put this link quickly into a chat as we get this going. Right, I'll share this and I'll put this link. So there we go. That's us ready to go now. As Giginho is going to start up for another lap, as I do believe he's probably going to be the first one to cross the line, or else unless Max Dev's ahead of him. Max Dev actually is ahead of him, so we'll keep on board with Max Dev to see how he gets on. It says he's currently 1 minute and 50 seconds behind, so I don't think that's representative. Although it says he's 33.8 in the first sector, so I'm not sure what's going on here. Maybe it's just a timing glitch on my screen, as there's a yellow flag and he's backed out of his lap, so it looks like we'll keep on board with Giginho. He's now coming into this fast right-hander. This is now the speed you want to be going. Oh, and he's went to cut in too much, and that's so. Giginho is actually on for this. What you want, you need to be going into 7th gear, maybe even 6th gear through that corner now, especially in these conditions now. They're a lot more drier. One of it's going to be a dry race. I'm assuming it's going to be, considering the fact most of the guys are going for the softs. So it'll be interesting, but we'll see what Kevin's going to do, because Kevin is possibly going to be the man to probably challenge Kelsper. To for Merck, not too far off with an 8.7, but there's quite a big gap to Beastas in behind, so see if Beastas, he hasn't really got a clear run yet, so we'll see how he gets on in the latter stages, as he will have one more lap pretty much. But there's going to be the last guy to cross the line. He's pretty much going to get the best of these conditions, but Kevin has carried so much speed through that fast right-hander. Traction, beautiful traction from Kevin, using as much of the road as possible. Nice late apex. Geared gear into 4th, activates the DRS. Be important here now to go into no ERS to try and save it just for the last run, but he doesn't. He clips the curb absolutely beautifully. That back end is absolutely planted in that car, as he's got Dobby coming across to start his final lap as well. So he might get held up just a wee bit in this last corner, but to be fair, he will grab a lot of slipstream as he comes across the line now. Dobby's going to get a massive slipstream from Dobby. Is this going to be pole position? It looks like it's going to be, and it is. It's an 8.2, and to be fair, that's going to be tough to beat for Kelsper. That's a fantastic lap from Kevin. As you see, he's just moved clean out of the way. He's confident. He is confident in that lap time. Wesker with an 8.7 as well. That's not too bad as from him either. and him and Merck are not separated by too much. These two drivers know each other very well. They're in a party all the time, so it's going to be interesting to see how them two get on. I'm just going to try and keep an eye on who is actually the next drivers to cross the line. I think Max Dev is probably the next one, as he goes in at 10.5 and puts himself into P10. Behind that was also Chubbs, put him in 8.6, so Chubbs has also made an improvement as well. Dobby's not the next one. I do believe the next one is Coutinho, so we'll see how Coutinho looks on. He's coming across the line now, the Williams engine. That's a 9.1 on the set of mediums. That's not a bad lap time from Coutinho, not a bad lap time at all. As Motter's coming across the line now, what's he going to do? He moves himself on to P9 with a 9.7. The next one is a Renault, which is going to be Gamer Paco. He's only going to be his one and only lap. And is he going to get on? He goes into 9.1, so he goes into P8 as well. As Beastas coming across the line, is he going to nab pole position? He's not. He's going to miss out by... Oh, he's at exact same lap time as Kevin, but Kevin said it first. Oh, that's very interesting. I was mentioning Beastas earlier on, saying it's going to be close tonight, and that bloody well is going to be close. As Serge Kasper going to get on as he moves into P3 with an 8.4. I'm not quick enough down these timing screens, which is my fault. I do believe Adam's actually going to be the next one across, and he is, and he goes into 10th. And I do believe that is going to be everybody else, because nobody else is actually going to be getting out in the track. So look at how close that is. 108.245 between Beastas and Kevin. That is mental. Just because Kevin set that up time first, that is... Have you ever seen anything like it? Have you ever seen anything like it? That was a very, very quick qualifying, I must say. Oh, Def Chip couldn't get back in. Oh, it's so unfortunate, man. I'll see if I can send you another invite, and hopefully your cure's still there. Hopefully, anyway. But Kevin does take pole, and Beastas pretty much identical times. You can have to say the two of them took pole, but in the game, Kevin does take pole, Beastas second. Nothing splits the two of them. Casper not far behind. To be fair, Scuba was up in P4. I didn't even clock that lap time. It's a good lap time from Scuba. Matt as well. See, 8.4 between the three of them. Literally only 17,000 covering the three. That's close. That's so close. You have then Captain Chubbs P6, Dobby P7, Wesker P8, Merck P9, Adam P10, Coutinho and Gamer Paco on the sixth row of the grid, and 11th and 12th. Matter 13th, Funky Chicken 14th, Max Dev 15th, Yarham 16th, and Def Chip, who didn't get into the session, but I'm hoping his car is still there, and I'll try and get him in for hopefully the race anyway. I suppose see what strategy most of the guys go for. I'm assuming it's going to be probably... I'm assuming there's going to be... Oh well, it's bright blue sky, so there's definitely going to be no rain this evening anyway, but I'm assuming there is going to be, I would say, a safety car in this race. Whether it's going to be at the start or going to be in the end, it remains to be seen, but this is a notorious pain in the ass track, so very hard to overtake, so pole position, or sorry, track position is very key. So if a safety car doesn't come out lap 1, maybe it's a good idea to actually stay out on the tyres that you're on and try and stretch them as far as possible, because as I said, track position is key. It's hard to overtake unless you're significantly quicker than the driver ahead. So there, boys, just attend to something there, and then I'm just quickly sending Dev Chip a invitation here just in case. See if he can get back in. He's online, so we'll see if he can get back in. I'm hoping he can, but it could, like you see, his car's still there, so I'm assuming he will get back in if he can join throughout this formation up. So if you are watching Dev Chip, try and get back in as quick as you can, man, because if you do, you'll be able to get in. So fingers crossed, but let's see what the tyre compounds are now between everybody. So to be fair, Matter and Coutinho went for the hard compound tyres. Now that's a very interesting one, I would say, because them hards are, I'm going to say it now, they're absolutely dog shit. I tried them in my league race in FTRL the other night, and by Jesus, or did I even try them? I don't even think I did. I actually think I tried the mediums. Oh no, I did try the hard, sorry, I did try the hard, yep, and they're absolute crap. I had no rear grip whatsoever. Doesn't matter how many laps I was doing. I think I spun out of the last corner, and I think I also spun again. So I did 2 spins on them hard tyres, and as soon as I put it on the mediums, the car felt a lot better. So if it was me, I know I said that you can't overtake around here, but if you can try and stretch the softs as far as possible and then go mediums to the end, it's easy, it's doable, but it's a tough one. Like, you will be sitting, if you go soft, medium, soft, and other drivers are behind you on the hard, or in front of you on the hards, you'll be significantly quicker. And as I'm saying, if you're significantly quicker from the driver ahead, then you will pass, because the amount of the traction you're going to get out of the last corner will help the speed deficit down the straight. So you can go soft, medium, soft if you're going to do a two-stop. I wouldn't go soft, medium, medium, because I don't think it'll work. So it's either a soft hard race or a soft medium medium, or soft medium soft, sorry. So it's going to be interesting. But in the chat, and see there's a lot of comments I did put into the FTRL chat just in case the lads aren't doing anything and they wanted to come in and have a bit of crack. Whoever is watching, put your predictions in, your top 3 predictions, and I will actually I'll talk through them midway through the race. But for me, I'm going to go with my top 3. I'm going to go Kevin if he doesn't spin, and then Beastas and Kelsper, I think, just because the way it is. Or actually, sorry, I'm going to go Kevin, Scuba, Beastas is what I'm going to go for, because I think Scuba's very good in his tyre, so he'll be able to stay as long as possible on them softs. But I think Kelsper, if force feedback goes, he'll not stay in the race. So it remains to be seen, everybody gets on, but there is quite a few people watching now as we get 5 red lights coming very soon. We'll ride on board a wee quick bit with Kevin as he gets it looked like a decent start, but it wasn't. Beastad's going to try and go up the inside. It might be Carnage in turn 1, 2 before. Is that Scuba up the inside of Kelsper, but I think Kelsper's going to maybe nick it around the outside. Oh, Kelsper gets a bit of a wiggle on as there's a lot of ghosting going on. Scuba right in behind Beastas. There's an incident in the sector 1. I think that's Matt and Chubbs. No, it's not. It's just a lot of ghosting on my screen, so I think that's just the first lap incident. That's probably just Codemasters game, so I think once it settles down they will all start to not ghost. But I think everybody actually got pretty much cleanly away. Maybe Max Dev, was it? No, Max Dev's still there. Def Chip did actually get in, so good to see that he actually got in. I don't know if he actually got much of a lap in, so I think everybody got away pretty cleanly. Yeah, it says Max Dev and Def Chip are 4 seconds behind the guys behind, but I doubt that's very much. But Kevin does lead Beastas in second and Scuba in third. I did say Scuba's right. Oh, as Chubbs and Matt's contacted with Chubbs, but Chubbs has managed to save it. And that's also Merc trying to make a move. Is he? No, he's not. This is going to get very close. You have also Dobby, Wesker and Adam all right there as well. This is going to get very feisty. But I know most of these drivers are very similarly paced, so I don't expect there to be too much gaps, and especially when you see him behind as well. Wesker, is he going to try and make the move on Adam? I don't think he is, but up ahead, I can't even see it. Merck's going to try and make the move around the outside of Matt. Oh, he's went very, very, very wide. Matt has Matt didn't even cut him off. Matt has given him the space. They're side by side. Merck's beautiful move around the outside from Merck. Up in the inside of the hairpin, and Matt's went wide, and that's going to allow Adam up the inside. Oh, it's tight between two of them. There's ghosting. But to be fair, Adam did not make the move as Merck and Matt are still going at it. Adam's also trying to go as well. Adam trying around the outside. That's a brave one to do that. Imagine Wesker turned ghosting off. That'd be funny. Because there's an awful lot of ghosting going on here. That's probably just a ghosted lobby. To be fair, that might actually make it a lot cleaner. To be fair, but it's been an absolute fantastic start. Matt just went completely deep and not allowed Merck to get right up the end. Or sorry, Merck just went right around the outside and Matt went deep, which allowed Adam to make a bit of an attempt at him, but Adam just wasn't able to get the traction out of the corner. And to be fair, Merck is at 1.2 seconds out, but that's because of the overtake he was doing on Matt. So I think Merck can maybe catch that back in. You see Wesker's right behind Adam. I don't think there's going to be any team orders in Alfa Romeo. To be fair, Yarham as well. Man didn't even get that much laps in, and he's on the mediums. And to be fair, he's up in the P10, so it's a fantastic start from Yarham as well. Dobby down in the P12, or sorry, P11. I'll just take a wee quick look at the position changes. See, yeah, Yarham's in up 4 position. Dobby's also went down 4, so Dobby must have had a bit of contact at the start. But to be fair, his wing looks intact, so I don't think he has. Up the inside, Coutinho's going to make the move on Matter. Oh, but who is that? That is Yarham went completely stopped there. Jesus, what the hell happened there? And Gamer Paco, I don't know if that was Gamer Paco maybe hit Yarham. I don't know what that was. Oh, up the inside. Well, to be fair, they're ghosting inside of each other, so I don't think there's going to be much contact between them all. This is Jesus Christ. This is such close racing. You see, there's going to be a move on the inside. No, there's not. If someone makes a move down here. Oh, to be fair, Matter looks like he's going to do it because Yarham's went very wide. Is Matter going to have the grip? Oh, it's good. Oh, he was thinking about it, but he had to back out of it. Yarham just doesn't have the grip at this stage of the Grand Prix. 3 laps in, and he's, to be fair, Matter is on the hard, so he's got much more grip than Yarham, so that's quite a surprise. Here we go. beautiful traction from Matter, but he's not going to be close enough now to make the move on Yarham. And then you have Max Dev right in behind as well, and Funky Chicken is also on a wheel, and you've Def Chip as well, so it's still pretty... Oh, Funky Chicken's went deep, and that's going to allow Def Chip just right around the outside. Beautiful from Def Chip. Funky Chicken made the mistake. He's on a wheel, so the best thing for him to do, as I've said to him last week, I think he may have took it on board, is just keep going on the wheel, man. It's the best thing for you to do. It's a way to improve. But to be fair, up as well, you have Merc and Matt. Oh, it's close, but Matt just manages to hold it out. Merc was definitely trying to hold it around the outside, but Matt was just cut across and was like, no thank you, mate. Not happening. That was a beautiful bit of defensive move from Matt. It was good overtake and also good defensive awareness as well, as he forced Merc a wee bit wide, which allowed Adam to get close, but Adam just wasn't close enough. Dobby made the move as well on Wesker, so Wesker is dropping quite far back, and that's allowed Dobby just to spring a bit clear now. Let's see what Dobby's pace is going to be like in a wee bit of clean air. He's going to catch, I assume he's going to catch Adam and Merc pretty quickly. Kelsper hasn't really got the grip at the moment. I think that's just his force feedback going, because we know Kelsper will be right back in there. I did say his force feedback might go, because that's just the nature of the wheel around this track, but particularly for me. But to be fair, he's still within 1 second, but it is very hard to drive without force feedback, because you can't actually feel the car. You're trying to turn it as much as possible, and the car's just not responding. Especially out of that last corner is very tricky, but the top three are still pretty close. This is going to be just one big massive DRS train, and I don't really think there's going to be much penalties. Is there anybody close enough to make any moves? No, there is not. Beastas is close to Kevin, but Kevin's still doing a fantastic job out front. Beastas is just not close enough. Kevin's got 70% DRS. Scuba's got 72% DRS. Also, there, Merc's outside the DRS window from Mats, and this is now going to make Adam the predator, and Merc is the prey. We'll see how Merc, as you can see, Merc's traction was not great out of that corner. It looks like his rears are just starting to hit the cliff just a wee bit, which is quite early in lap 5, because I would assume that these softs would be able to last 10 laps. Oh, he's went deep, Merc. Oh, he's in the wall. That's Merc. Is that wing damage? Has he saved it? I don't think he has yet, but it's wing damage. Oh, and he's retired from the session as well. That's so unfortunate for Merc. That corner is just an absolute nightmare. If you turn in way too late, it's just going to compromise you, and that's exactly what it's done there for Merc. So unfortunate for Merc, but he was actually on for an okay. He was performing very well at the stage of the Grand Prix, but it's just these things happen. I'm like him as well. I hate this track as well. Matters currently 1.2 seconds behind Yarham, and Yarham's 1.8 behind Gamer Paco. So Yarham was looking promising at the start, the first 2 or 3 laps, but now he's starting to struggle just a bit, just can't keep with the guys. To be fair, Matter's still sticking there. I think in the next coming laps, I think Matter's tyres will start to come into their own, and he will start to close that gap. Def Chip and Max Dev, these two boys race with each other in FTRL in Division 2, so I expect good racing between these two. And as you can see, Max Dev's trying to go around the outside, but Def Chip had it on the inside, and easy move for Def Chip into turn 1, and that should be him on his way. Def Chip was worried that he was going to get smashed by everybody tonight, but to be fair, he's keeping his own. I know he's down to P14 and Max Dev's down to P15, but they're still keeping their own, and their pace is still pretty strong, so it's good showing from them so far. I'm really happy that the two of them turned up. We'll just keep an eye at the gap at the front. Kevin's still got the roughly about half a second lead, and Scuba's also half a second behind Beastas, so it's just going to be either who's going to pit first or who's going to be able to hold the tyres out the longest and maybe go for the mediums. I think Beastas will definitely go for the hards, because that's what he does. He always goes for the hard compound tyres, because some strange reason he always has very good pace on the hards. So I'm expecting Beastas to go for the hards. Whether Kevin will go for the hards or not, but to be fair, Beastas is going to try and go up the inside. He's going to launch it. And Kevin, oh, it's contact between the two of them a wee bit, I think, but I don't think there's nothing going. Kevin's going to try and just sit in behind Beastas, so Kevin's not really worrying too much at the moment. But Beastas had to make that move. He knows that if he's going to, and any chance of beating Kevin, he had to make that overtake, because he knows Kevin is just a quick driver. Like, now this is going to be interesting. Is Beastas going to bolt first, or is Kevin going to basically force him in? And to be fair, the two Red Bull boys are right beside each other, so who's going to pit first between these two as well? I don't even know if these two guys are in a party. That's the thing, I don't think they are. So, but I think they do have a clear understanding, and Scuba wanted to join Red Bull to try and smash Kevin, and I think last week, I think he beat him in the race last week, but Kevin beat him in qualifying. Kevin beat him in qualifying here again, and he's beating him in the race at the moment. But we know what Scuba's like. Scuba's an absolute race merchant. He doesn't have the qualifying pace, but he definitely has the race pace. Don't know how he does it, I really don't. As you can see, he's also got 80% DRS, so he's just very comfortable at the moment. Calsper's, to be fair, if he doesn't have any force feedback, he's still managing to keep with them. And Chubbs, to be fair, is not too far behind. So these two guys are in the McLaren. Calsper is basically a reserve, so he can do whatever bloody car he wants. And they are teammates tonight. So you have two Red Bulls and two McLarens in the top 4, and then you have the one AlphaTauri. So this AlphaTauri is going to get hunted very much by two teams, by the Red Bulls and the McLarens. But let's see what the gap is between the leaders. The gap between the leaders is 2.5 seconds. And Matt, to be fair, is in P6 and he's 2 seconds behind. So Matt at the moment is struggling to keep with these guys, but to be fair, Matt, he's still in a good range for an undercut. So if Matt can go maybe lap 10 and bolt down a set of hards, you never know, he could force these guys into maybe an early pit stop. That's what it could be. But to be fair, at the same time, you don't want to bolt too early and the safety car comes out. But by the way people have been driving at the moment, I doubt there's going to be much of a safety car unless there's massive mistakes being made, because the driving so far has been pretty good. Whisker still keeping with Dobby, so it looks like the softs are still managing to hold their own. I think from the practice laps I did anyway, the softs, after about 8 or 9 laps, I was losing at least 7 tenths to my best time. So 7 tenths you would say is a lot, but as well you would expect them to drop off a lot more. So I do think they do keep their own just a bit. It's just the word's just not great. But I do think, who is that? That's Matt, actually. Sorry, I was saying Matt's pitting around lap 9. Johan picks up a 3, first penalty of the day, and Matt's going to go for an alternative strategy. He's going for the mediums, as he had to be held up there a wee bit from Wesker, who I'm assuming is going to go for the hards. Yes, so Wesker's definitely going for the 1 stop. Matt's going to try and go for maybe a 2 stop here. So has Matt listened to me and go soft, medium, soft? That is an interesting one. Matt's going to be absolutely flying at this stage of the race as he cuts across that white line. It's very, very, very hard not to cross that white line. I crossed it multiple times, so he probably did pick up a wee warning for that. But we'll see how much pace he can gain. Now he's going to come up to the back of Max Dev and Dev Chip. Now to overtake them two guys is not going to be easy, but to be fair, I don't really think the two of them will put up too much of a fight, to be honest with you. So it'll be interesting to see. We'll just keep an eye on this gap. He did come out of the pits 2.8 seconds behind Max Dev. He's now going to be probably 1.9, 1.8 seconds, so he's gained a second already. So it just shows you how quick he is, and you can just see by the way that car is turning in how much he's going to love these medium tires right now. And that's the yellow flag in sector 2. Who is that? I don't know who that was. Looked like someone made a mistake, but I don't think they did. There's nobody in the pits ahead. Well, sorry, I say that as Adamako's actually going into the pits. So Adamako is the first one in the Tazi, well, one of the front guys to go into the pits. As you see, Def Chip is right behind, or sorry, Matter's right behind Jarham, and Matter's going for the move. I can't even get on board. Right around here, say Jarham's going to hold him. Matter's going to get the line, but Jarham's still there. It's good racing between the two of them. Around the outside, oh, it's close between the two of them, but it's fantastic driving between them. Jarham's going to keep this going. Matter's going around the outside, and Jarham should have the grip, but he doesn't. Matter's going to be there. Oh, it's side by side action, but Matter manages to get the better traction. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful driving between the two of them. That is what you want to see. That is what it is all about. Fantastic driving. Matter into P9, Johan down to P10, and Def Chip, who is just right behind this battle, was able to pick whatever car he wants, and he has chose the Ferrari. So I don't know if that's the car he wanted or if it's not, but he's in it. And Matt passed Max Dev very, very quickly, so I don't think Max Dev put up too much of a fight compared to Matt. So Matt didn't really get held up too much, so we're going to see how his pace is going to fare. As up ahead, is anybody in the front going to pit? We'll keep an eye on Beastas, see if he's going to go into the pits. Beastas was actually trying to dummy Kevin into the pits, but Kevin was not falling for it, and neither was Scuba. As you see, the strategy for the hards is open, and you see Kalsper has moved out of the way for Captain Chubbs as he feels oh, Chubbs, as soon as he got past, clips the inside curb and nearly spins the car. As Matt has also passed. Oh, that's Jarham's round. Oh, and he's in the wall. He's in the wall. Oh, so Jarham, oh man, you and sorry, Matter were having an absolute fantastic battle, and that is just what happened. Jarham in the wall, and I think that's definitely going to be in for a set of hard compound tyres. Yes, it is, or maybe retirement. As I say that, sorry, as the safety car is out. So Jarham hasn't even retired, but he's crawling into the pits very, very slowly. So now I think this is pretty much going to nail on the fact now that everybody, as Funky Chicken has received a drive-through penalty. That's unfortunate for Funky Chicken, but to be fair, I think Jarham is, yeah, he's bolting on a set of, is that a set of softs? It is. So Jarham hasn't clearly hasn't changed his strategy, or else he's going very, very, very aggressive. But this is now going to, I would assume, everybody's going to pit for a set of hards. Well, you never know, actually, you never know, because Scuba might actually go for a set of mediums, because I know he's good on the tyres, and I think he'd be confident in himself to actually get into the end, especially if you're maybe 2 or 3 laps behind the safety car. They could work, but you see Kevin's trying to get past Beastars, but I don't think Beastars. Oh Jesus, Kevin! That's the wing gone. I believe that is the wing gone. My God, if he'd had a wing damage. Oh, that's going to hold Scoob up, and Kelsper has retired, so I think Kelsper's 4-3 back did go. Kevin has wing damage, and he's going to hold Scoob up quite a lot. Scoob is going to be absolutely fuming. But Kevin came into the pits way too hot, and I think other than that he wouldn't have had to replace his wing. But to be fair, I know this is going to compromise Scuba and all, but to be fair, they're still not out of this race just yet. The safety car is out, but to be fair, it has gave Beastas a massive lead. Coutinho has stayed out though, but to be fair, he's in the horse, so that's not to be expected. Kevin's in the P6. I think Scuba's going to be a bit annoyed on who was that? That was Gamer Paco actually spun. Gamer Paco spun under the safety car. That's he's actually had a collision with Adam, so I think these two were actually going side by side. Surely they couldn't have went side by side on the safety car. But I don't think Paco has received any wing damage, so I'm not sure if that was just something that happened there. Def chip on Scuba, so Scuba's going to be. I think Scuba would be fairly annoyed with Kevin for having to be stationary in the pits, but to be fair, he was going to be stationary anyway. It's just he was stationary for a lot longer than what he should have been because of the safety car and just because how close they were on track. But I don't know if Kevin picked up that damage just by driving into the back of Beastars coming into the pits, or if he picked it up before. I don't think he would have picked it up before because he was keeping with Beastars. Or you never know, maybe he actually picked it up whenever Beastars dive bombed him in the turn 1. You never know. That's what it could have been. And then that contact in the back just made the damage a wee bit worse, so we'll have to find out and see after the race. But to be fair, Matt on them set of medium tyres he's got himself up in the P5. Matter still is at the pit, so effectively at the moment the net top 3 is Beastars, Captain Chubbs by up into P3, which basically much a net P2. Captain bloody Chubbs, that is what you want to see. Can Chubby Boy win this race? Can he win this goddamn race? I would love to see Chubbs back up on the top step of the podium. It has been a very long time, but I would love to see it. I love Chubbs, man. I love him. Man deserves it. The spaghetti bolognese that he made yesterday was a bit questionable, but it's not as bad as Wesker's dog food though, so you know. Yeah, so for anybody that's watching and doesn't actually know anything about Wesker eats probably the weirdest foods I've ever seen. His pizzas all look undercooked. His mince looks like dog shit. So so Wesker's food doesn't look that nice, and we all take the piss out of him for it. We all say it's dog food every time he eats it. So you know, Wesker doesn't mind it. Wesker loves it. It's a good bit of crack, and he also gives the banter back. So everybody in this lobby all knows each other pretty well, and all has a good bit of crack between each other. Oh Jesus Christ, up ahead, that was Coutinho nearly losing on the safety car, but see, the safety car is going very, very, very slowly. And this is one thing I do not like. I do not like safety car restarts. That is one I bloody hate it. But to be fair, the safety car has not stayed out that long, so we are going to be coming in right now, as I must take a wee quick look at the YouTube comments to see what everybody is doing and how everybody is getting on this evening. Yeah, so I was right when Calsper said that. Oh, and Kevin, Beastas and Chubbs. That's just because the safety car is going. Safety car is very slow. Oh, safety car! I hate the safety car restart, especially when you go to. So to be fair, Coutinho was bolted very bloody early. He's bolted early, and he's caught Beastas napping. Now, is this going to allow Captain Chubbs to have a go? Chubbs is not using his ERS, so Chubbs is not really expecting to go up inside. And in background, Scuba. Oh, it's very close. Dobby as well, and Adam might go up ahead. I just keep a board on with Wesker. Round the outside, Dobby's went deep on him. Side by side, and Dobby gets the traction, and Adam tried to make the move and just couldn't make it. To be fair, they're still all going okay at the moment. Scuba made the move ahead of Def Chip, but Def Chip has actually come into the pits for some reason, so he probably broke his wing in the safety car restart, which is unfortunate for Def Chip. We've also Gamer Paco on the hard, a fresh set of hards has been caught napping on the safety car restart, so Scuba did lose out at the safety car. It's just into sector 1 and sector 2. That is, Yarham is actually out of the Grand Prix, so Yarham has spun it. That's at the fast right hander as well, so it's the same corner Merck spun it. To be fair, it's a traditional corner to spin it. But up ahead, that's Matt and Matter. These two were overtaking each other onto the safety car, but Matt and Matter are still going at it. Matt on the mediums, Matter on used hard tyres. And at the moment, Matter's still managing to keep in P4. Def Chip has now moved up into P14 as Matt runs a wee bit wide. But Chubbs is out the 1 second window, and Matter's also outside the 1 second window of Chubbs. So if Matt gets a free chance, he's going to go for it too. For Matter's on the inside, Matt round the outside. Surely Matt should get this round the outside. He doesn't, because Matter crosses over beautifully, but Matt's still there. Oh, and a side by side, Matt had to run wide to avoid a bit of contact, but he's up right up Matter's hole, right up it. And you see Kevin as well trying to go on the inside. Oh, and he just couldn't do it. That corner's so scary. Oh, and Matt's had to go on the grass, and Kevin's going to try and make the move, is he? No, he's not. It's just close racing. It's a wee bit. Matter's defending for all his life, even though he hasn't come into the pits. Matt's going to be absolutely screaming under that helmet. He's going to be like, "Get out of the way, man! Get out of the way!" in his out posh accent. But he's going to try and dart up the inside. Oh, that's a bold one. To be fair, I probably would have chanced to see him. But Coutinho has actually stretched out a 1 second lead on Beastas. So Coutinho at the moment on them old hard compound tyres is showing a good bit of pace. Chubbs is not able to keep with Beastas at the moment. So we just have Matt and Matt both racing each other. I actually do believe the last time we were actually in TMC, these two guys were teammates. So these two guys know each other very well, but you see Matt's got much better run now. Matter is trying to go defensive. Matt should be able to make this move on 2 before Matter's going to use his ERS as well. He's going to blow as much of it. Yes, he's even going to blow much of it. Matt just can't get close to him. Oh, Matt's going to try and go for a bit of a switch back, but Matter placed the car beautifully. And in order for this strategy to work for Matt, he needs to get past Matter, but he isn't able to do it as Kevin. Oh, Jesus, that was close. It's just the nature of the corner. Oh, Jesus. Matt's going to try it. Man, I'm scared. I'm scared. I actually hate them camera angles. It's so scary. As there's a VSC out. Is that for Funky Chicken or Def Chip? Or is it for Dobby? Could be for Dobby, because Dobby's actually sustained a lot of wing damage. So it might be for Dobby, so Dobby might have spun. The VSC is still out, as Coutinho has actually decided, you know what, let's just make a bit of a bold decision. And Coutinho, I assume, is going to go for a set of mediums, and that's going to be interesting to see if he can get them to the end of the Grand Prix. He's not going to lose out as much time though under the VSC, so he's actually going to come out not too far behind Max Def, which is actually not too far off this sort of battle. So Coutinho's actually timed this pretty well, but to be fair, Matt and Matter, Jesus, Matt's got caught Matter nap on his side by side. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. Oh, Matt's on the inside and he's half spun it. My god, Matt's getting very frustrated under that helmet. He's got to just keep it. He's got to just be very careful of what he's doing, because Matter is trying to defend this with all his life. But Jesus Christ, I was actually nearly crying there. But Matter is doing an absolute fantastic job for Beastas. Maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe he's just trying to hold maybe he's trying to hold Matt up, because Beastas knows that Matt's one of the main contenders, and that's probably what he's doing. I actually didn't even clock that. And to be fair, he is doing a fantastic job. So Matt is going to be absolutely fuming, as Funky Chicken has also spun, but Def Chip's going to overtake him very soon. As Chubbs is close to Beastas, but he's not close enough. They've pretty much got around the same ERS. Matter's going defensive again. Matt's not close enough to make the move. But for Kevin's going to try and make a... Is he? Oh, it's close, but contact between two of them. Matt's absolutely blood. You can tell Matt is fuming under that helmet. He knows he's so much quicker. But Kevin's up the inside. Matt, look at... Oh, Kevin spun it! He's in the wall. No, Kevin, no! Oh, man, you're... Oh, no, what's... Oh, I'm about to cry. Def Chip sets the fast lap. Oh, Kevin, man, what a race he was having. What a race he was having. It's just the traction on them hard tyres. I even said it at the start. Them hard tyres are absolutely dog shit. They are shit. And that is just a prime example of it. Kevin doing the same lines as he has done every single lap, and the car just says nope. Spin we go. Oh, Matt's getting very, very, very close to the back of Matter. You can just tell by the tires that Matt's on. He is just so much more superior grip than Matter. But now he's got the DRS activated. Matter does not have anybody to chance Matt. This should be the move now. He's gonna go for it. But outside line, see, because Matter knows. Around the outside, Matter, it's Matt. He's got to get it this time. Is it going to be close? It's between the two of them. I think Matt's got it this time. No, he hasn't. This wheel bang between the two of them. Matt's around the outside. They go side by side, and just contact just did not work. Oh my god! And Scuba's now up in the P5, overtakes Wesker along the up the hill. So Scuba, who was actually compromised throughout the pit stop strategy, is now got himself right back into this Grand Prix. That just shows you the consistency that this man has. That's so unfortunate for Matter as well, because they two were actually, I know the battle one looked very aggressive, but it was fair. So it was between the two of them. Matt just got the run around the outside, and I just think, I don't know whether Matter's tires just made him understeer into Matt, because I think from the screen, from the angle that I looked, Matt had gave him enough space. I just think it was just because the way the corner was going and the speed the two of them were carrying, it was hard for the two of them just to I don't know, but that's allowed Matt now to get a bit of clean air. But to be fair, his tires, he's going to feel the wear now in these tires, but he's not really going to be behind Matt. Jesus Christ. Chubbs, to be fair, is still going behind Beastas, and Beastas has a lot less ERS to play with, so Chubbs is driving absolutely beautifully. I don't think Matt's going to make too much of an inroads to Kikino, and Kikino on Gamer Paco. Kikino on their mediums up the inside. That was a beautiful move, especially up there. It's not often you see drivers going for it up there. As Kikino now, he's definitely one to watch out for, because to be fair, Kikino's a bit less, maybe 2.5 seconds behind Matt. And Kikino's tires are definitely going to go to the end of the Grand Prix. Now this, Kikino's on for a fantastic result. Absolutely fantastic result. A very, very quick Wesker and a very quick Adam as well, and Matt. So these drivers are not going to be easy to overtake. No matter if he is on the medium compound tires, he's just going to have to hope and pray that he gets a fantastic run. But I'm just trying to keep on board with Scuba now to see if he's close enough to Adam. He isn't, but he's still keeping it very well. 8 laps old in tyres are, while Adams is 10, so he's got 2 lap fresher tyres, which at the end of the Grand Prix will prove crucial. But to be fair, look at Kikino, the exit he gets. I've seen even Matt was getting fantastic exits off that corner, but because the exit's that good, it's hard to overtake here unless you have complete faith in the driver ahead. Oh, Scuba's one wide. That's going to allow Wesker up the inside. Oh, it's close between them. Wesker makes a bit of contact. Kikino's had to get back out of it. Oh, Scuba went completely wide. He carried way too much speed. And Kikino, this is the prime moment. Wesker's going to be absolutely raging, and I think Kikino is going to get him. Is it going to be around the outside? They're going to hang it on. Oh, it's close, but I think Kikino... Oh, he's on the grass, and Wesker's running around the outside. But oh, it's wide banging between the two of them. I think Wesker's going to hold on, and he does, but he's outside the DRS now. He doesn't have it. Kikino will. So this is going to be the clear opportunity now for Kikino to get past Wesker. Wesker going to be absolutely fuming, but Captain Chubbs has made the move on Beastas, and Chubbs is into the lead of the Grand Prix. And Beastas, I believe, also has a penalty as well, so that's the 5-second penalty he got as well. So Chubbs at the moment was going to win, and to be fair, Adam is right around the outside of Matt. Matt's going to try and defend this. He can't defend it. Adam's right around the outside. A beautiful bit of move from Adam. Matt's down to P4 with the penalty as well. Scuba's P5, Wesker's P6, and Kikino right behind him. Wesker's outside the DRS. Kikino's going, oh Jesus Christ, it's going to be close. Kikino, I think he's made it. He has. Oh, Wesker's, look at the speed Wesker's carrying. He's pushing him through the fast right hand. That's, man, I swear to God, them camera angles absolutely scare the life out of me. Scare the dung out of me. Like, people huge bites are probably thinking, what the hell is he screaming about? That just scares me, look. But Scuba's close now to the back of Matt. These two are on a party together, so they will be communicating. I do think Matt is probably going to have to pit again, because there's no way he's going to get them tires another 15 laps. If he pits, he's going to come out behind Max Dev, probably on a set of softs, and be absolutely flying. So you never know. If a safety car comes out, he's back in it. I think if a safety car doesn't come out, it's going to be very hard to catch back up. as second, third and fourth all have penalties, but Captain Chubbs at the moment is leading the Grand Prix and does not have a penalty in there. Chubbs, man. I know Kelsper's in the party with you, and Kelsper's definitely watching this as well. Listen to me when I tell you this. Do not get a penalty and bring this bloody car home. I want to see you on the top step of the podium. And that's a warning as well. But here we go. Matt, he's still behind Adam, but he's just not going to be close enough. And like as I said, he's not going to get these to the end. I think he's going to pit probably lap 27. Excuse me, I think probably lap 27 Matt will pit. I'll go for a set of softs. He's probably going to do the strategy I said, soft, medium, soft. To be fair, may as well. Nothing really to lose at the moment. Beastas is going to get second and it's going to extend his lead in the championship. It's going to be very hard now for Matt to catch that back up on his. Beastas has a couple of shocking races. Matt's last few races haven't been spectacular. To be fair, him and Matt are having, like, being held up by Matt wasn't really the most ideal thing for him either, as they're about to lap Funky Chicken. So Funky Chicken's about to get lapped as Kevin, to be fair, is still going and has been lapped, as that is a yellow flag in sector 2. That is Funky Chicken getting out of the way. He realises he doesn't actually have to get out of the way because all the drivers do ghost, but as I'm saying that there, Gamer Paco was right behind Whisker, but he isn't close enough to make the move. He is not. So we will actually go and take a wee look at the YouTube comments, see what is going on. Timo did his race prediction as Kevin Beastas Scuba. Well, at the moment you're right with Beastas. Scuba you could be right with as well, because the penalty situation is looking like, as like I do the streaming every week and I still don't even know this. So as you can see, Beastas and Adam both have 5 seconds and Matt's also got 3 seconds. So at the moment Scuba will get P3 if I'm correct, but it just all depends how quickly he can catch Adam, or how much Adam can actually close in, because at this moment he's going to just go out. So Scuba's still on for a podium and he's probably not going to get a penalty because the man's ridiculously consistent. So you're right about you're right about 2 podium predictions, but to be fair, at the moment nobody has predicted Chubbs to win this Grand Prix. And Matter says this game, what the fuck. I honestly don't know what happened, man. From my screen it looked like you understeered and it was just the shitty contact model. But to be fair, yes, the battle, as you were saying, it was great between you and Matt. And Timo, I also agree as well. It has been a very, very exciting Dutch Grand Prix, especially for a track that isn't really prone for overtakes. To be fair, the driving has been pretty good. Some moments it hasn't really been anybody's fault in terms of the incidents. It's been more like somebody's made a mistake, because Merck made a mistake and crashed. Kelsper's forward feedback went. Other than that, he was going okay. Kevin made a mistake. Dobby, I believe, made a mistake as well, and Yarham also made a mistake. So like that's and those are the retirements. Nobody's really properly made a bit of contact apart from Matter and Matt. That was only contact that's actually properly happened, but I just think that was a crappy contact model. So there hasn't really been many big incidents, and everybody's still pretty much going. But for all credit to MaxDev, to be fair, is only 4.2 seconds behind Gamer Paco, and MaxDev was not looking confident coming into this race, because he was thinking he was going to get beat by all these drivers. But to be fair, he's only 4.3 seconds behind. I know he has a penalty as well, but that's still good showing considering the fact that Gamer Paco and Wesker and all are pretty quick drivers. And I believe Wesker's also in Division 1 in FTRL as well, so he knows. So MaxDev knows how quick Wesker actually is. So the performance he's doing at the moment is pretty good. DevChip is just, it's just a few mistakes that's just happened, and he's far behind. But he has set the fastest lap of the race. So at least that's a bit of a. Oh, he actually hasn't. Cookie News said it, so that's my bad. But he has set an 11.5, which is not too far off. So it shows he has the pace, and I think he'd be just happy to get a good few laps under his belt as well. But Scuba's now 2 tenths behind Matt. I think because he's two in a party, I don't think Matt will hold him up too much, to be honest, because Matt's going to pit very soon, I think. But you never know. You never know. Matt is also in this title battle as well, so he needs to try and not lose as much points to Beastas, because I know Matt may not say he cares about the title, but every driver cares about winning the championship at least. And like, I know there's only 3 races, 3 or 4, I think there's 3 races after this to go. It's still all to play for. Beastas are going to have a good bit of an advantage, but anything can happen. One DNF from Beastas, which is possible because he's DNF before this season, and Matt gets another strong podium position. He's right back in it, so it's still everything to play for. And I think it will go down to Abu Dhabi, considering with the point system. I think it'll go to Abu Dhabi. or not Abu Dhabi, what am I talking about? The last race, I'm thinking of the normal season, Brazil. Brazil's the last race in the calendar, and I think Matt will also be quicker than him in probably Brazil and Bahrain. So as you see, Matt has let Scuba go, so Scuba's now going to be chasing down Adam Mako. So it's going to be interesting now to see if Scuba, I think if Scuba passes Adam Mako, I think Scuba will pull in that gap to Beastas as well, so he could actually get second place. And to be fair, Beastas is not really pulling out. Chubbs is not losing Beastas. Beastas is still sticking there, as there's yellow flag in sector 1 and 2. That is Funky Chicken has also spun a game. To be fair though, man, he's still going at P11, especially on a wheel, so he's doing quite well, as Kevin is still going. I'm not sure if that's him actually driving. I don't actually think it is. So only yellow flag in sector 2. That's also Funky Chicken's also spun again. This time he's completely smashed the front wing. Is that Dev Chip? Oh, it is. So Funky Chicken's actually been lapped by Dev Chip as well. So Funky Chicken's pretty much been lapped by the whole grid. As Wesker and Gamer Paco go side by side, and Paco makes the move into turn 1, and that's him unleashed now with a 2-second. He's got a 2-second gap to Coutinho, and it's going to be interesting now to see when Coutinho's tyres do start to fall off. But Coutinho has caught Matt at an alarming bloody rate. As I said, do not exclude Coutinho from this race, because Coutinho, if he can pass Matt and stick with Scuba, Coutinho is still in with a very, very strong chance, because Adam's the 5-second penalty. So at the moment, Coutinho's going to get P3, and Scuba's going to get P2. Well, if he passes Beastas, that is. Or sorry, if he passes Adam, which is not an easy feat. If he doesn't pass Adam, then he'll get P3, Beastas will get P2, and Coutinho will get P4, and Adam P5. So there's still quite a lot of positions to play for. This is going to be a topsy-turvy last few laps. But to be fair though, like, what is it, lap 28, and the top 11 or top 8 are only covered by 11.1 seconds. Like, that's, despite the number of retirements, that's still not a lot. But Wesker's coming into the pits. Wesker knows that he's got the advantage, he's got the gap, so he's just going to come in, probably bolt on a set of softs and go for fastest lap. To be fair, it's a smart strategy, because I would do the same. Yeah, he's got the gap to Max Dev in behind, because Max Dev pitted last lap, and Max Dev's going to try and go for the fastest lap now as well. So Wesker has the gap. I'm assuming fastest lap is going to come, but because of that, I also expect Gamer Paco to probably also go in and pit for that as well. But to be fair, he can't really, because Wesker was actually close behind him, so he's risking losing another position. Decides to pit, but I don't think he will. I think Paco will not. I think Paco will stay out, because he'll know the risk, and he'll know the pit lane. The pit lane is like what, 18 to 20 seconds or something. I'm not 100% sure. See, at the moment there's not really much going on, but they're still pretty close. But it's just because of the nature of this track. Like, if someone's in DRS, it's very hard to get close. Adam's not in DRS at Beastas, but Scuba's not even close enough to make the move on Adam. Adam's just getting a fantastic run. Scuba, I think, doesn't have really much ERS to fight with either, but he does know that all he has to do is just sit in behind Adam, and he will jump him. But I think he's also going to be, I think Scuba will also be like, for Adam to get a bit of a move on, because Scuba will know in that party that Beastas will have a 5-second penalty, because he will see it on a screen. And if he can see Beastas the 5-second penalty and see the gap is 5.4, he knows he's only 4/10 off getting P2. Like, imagine having Chubbs, Scuba and Coutinho on the podium. Like, you would have predicted Scuba, but you wouldn't have predicted Coutinho and Chubbs, which is, you know, that's just a thing around here. Like, anybody can win. Like, it's close, because a lot of drivers are on the same level, and one mistake can cost. But it's just all about who keeps it clean. And at the moment, Chubbs has been absolutely fantastic. He's been an absolute revelation this race, as Def Chip, as I didn't mention, has actually set the fastest lap of the race with a 10.7. That could prove tricky to beat, to be fair, but we'll see how Wesker's on. Well, I say that Wesker's went 9/10 quicker than his best time, which at the moment is going to put him in 11 flat, but he is purple, and I expect him to improve by a lot more. So I expect this to be I'm going to take a random guess, and I'm going to say, I was going to say a 10.2, but I think this is probably going to be in the 9s. If I'm honest, I think this will probably be a 9.9 is what I'm going to go for. We'll see how Wesker now does as he comes across the line. He's absolutely, you can tell he's blew every single bit of ERS, doesn't have much fuel to play with either. Wesker crosses the line. It's a 9.7, so actually was not too far off. So I'll give myself a wee pat in the back for that. Wasn't too far off, and now I think that's going to be a tough time to beat. because I don't think anybody else is going to come in and try and beat that. Well, you say that, I don't even think Kevin's there because his car's ghosted, so I think he might have actually left the session, or else he's just in AA mode. But if he was there, he could probably come in a pit. But Coutinho's still right behind Matt, and Matt's now dropped out. Matt 21 laps on these medium tyres. If he gets these to the end, fair bloody play, I'll congratulate him. He knows, like Matt knows. Well, to be fair, if Matt pits, well, I was going to say if he pits, he's going to come out in front of Wesker, but he won't. That's the thing. Oh my Jesus Christ, what happened there? He's got a puncture. He's got a puncture. Oh, Matt's got a puncture. I was wondering what happened there. He just went... Has Coutinho picked up damage? I think Coutinho might have picked up damage. Yeah, he has. So what was happening there is, and so was Matt, because they went into the wall. So Matt obviously picked up, as Wesker, I would assume, is going to fly past the two of them. And I don't really think actually Coutinho is going to still come out ahead of Matt. So this is going to be a challenge for the fastest lap to beat Wesker. So well, basically I think what happened there is that Matt was coming around the last corner and got the puncture, but because Coutinho was so close, because Matt lost it, as Matt picks up a penalty, as Matt still actually got a penalty, as ahead, that is Adam Mako's actually went around. So has there been contact between him and Guillermo Paco, or has that just been a mistake? Oh, them tires were screaming a wee bit there. I was too bloody focused on Matt and Coutinho that I didn't even acknowledge Chubbs. But to be fair, the Wesker is actually come. Oh, and as I said, that Wesker's also lost it as well. What is going on with these guys this evening? They are just losing it left, right, and centre. And that's only a 2-lap old softs. Oh, Wesker's gonna be fuming. Wesker's gonna be fuming. He's gonna be in the pits again. He's gonna have to pit. He's not gonna be able to drive around with that wing. But there is 3 laps to go, so you never know. Well, we'll see. We'll see if Wesker's going to pit, because he could still pit and then go for another fastest lap if he wants to. And he is going to pit. And Adam is not, so Adam is going to stay out. He doesn't have wing damage. That was very strange from Wesker, because it's not often I see Wesker spin. Like, that's one thing I'll say about Wesker. Like, Wesker, he may pick up a penalty or two, but the man doesn't spin unless it's an instant. So that is... It's very strange. I think he'd be very annoyed with himself at the moment, but he might still catch Max Dev, you never know. Because it's not, the gap's not too far. As to be fair, Def Chip's actually not too far behind him either. Oh, and to be fair, is Wesker going to get out ahead of him? He is. So Wesker nearly lost out to Def Chip, but he's probably going to just pull away from Def Chip now in a minute. But to be fair, to catch 9.9 seconds of Max Dev in 4 laps, it's going to be pretty tricky. But as I was saying as well, because of Adam's spin, that is unleash Scuba, and you can see Scuba's now got that gap down, and he's going to literally jump Beastars into P2, and Paco will... Is Paco going to jump? No, he's not, because Paco's 5 seconds behind Scuba, so Paco's not going to jump either, as that is Kevin and Funky Chicken are actually going at it. Well, Kevin's AI car's going at it. But to be fair, as I say, Wesker is going to catch that gap. Coutinho and Matt, oh, side by side. Matt's up the inside, and he makes the move stick. But Coutinho's going to try and come back. Oh, I thought that was a bit of contact, but it wasn't. Coutinho, look at how wide Coutinho is going to try and get the exit. But they're both on the same sort of tyres, and they're both front of pads, so they're both going to get the same traction. And this could prove... This might help Matt, you know. Because Matt's got a 3-second penalty. Adam has a 5-second penalty. Or has he? Because I think he might have actually said, yeah, because he hasn't pitted. So if Matt can get within 2 seconds of Adam, which is going to be hard, but considering the tyres he's on, could be doable. Matt could still get himself a P5, which if Beastars finishes P3, Matt finishes P5, the points is not that much difference in the two of them. So Matt, to be fair, is still not out of this. I thought it was looking very bleak for Matt throughout this race, but it has come back, and he's been very fortunate with a lot of drivers that have binned it, and you never know, he might set fastest lap as well. At the moment he doesn't, so it's going to be another stab too for Wesker. Still got the fastest lap of the race, so nobody's really able to go close. But at the moment Scuba is going to pick up P2, and Chubbs has literally 4 sectors to go, and he is going to pick up his win. Now man, I'm not gonna lie to you, when he crosses the line and he wins this race, I'm gonna cry for Chubbs. I'm gonna cry for him. Beastas is very twitchy though. I don't think Beastas, there's no real point in Beastas even trying to make this move, because he's not going to build the gap to Scuba. Beastas is just going to have to settle for the fact that he's going to pretty much finish third. Third's the best he's going to get, because Paco's not going to close in them, Adam's not. Matt's 5.3 seconds behind Adam. Matt needs to have the best last lap of his life, and hope Adam makes a mistake. But to be fair, I don't think Adam actually picked up any wing damage, so I don't think Adam is going to lose that much time. But to be fair, the gap's 4.8, and all depends if Adam picks up a penalty, which I don't think he's gonna, but we'll just keep with this last lap. To be fair, Scuba's pace since he got clear of Adam has been absolutely electric. Man has closed in so bloody quickly, but we'll keep with Chubbs, as Captain Chubbs is going to bloody pick up a win. Swear, man, I can't believe it. Oh, and Matter actually said it was the curb that actually spun him around, so that's interesting. Actually, was no contact, so that's fair play. But Chubbs is coming around the last corner and has drove absolutely brilliantly. Man has rose from P6 to P1 to win the Netherlands Grand Prix. Captain Chubbs, absolutely fantastic drive. Scuba's going to take P2, finishing only 4.2 seconds off the lead. Beastas P3. Paco's going to pick up P4. Good result from Paco as well. He was absolutely nowhere this whole race. Adam's going to pick up P5. Matt's not going to be close enough, but Matt is going to pick up P6. So because Beastas at P3 with 20 points, Matt's going to try and get the fastest lap. He's not going to get it. That's going to go to Wesker at the moment, I believe. So because Matt is in P6, which is off the top of my head 14 points, Beastas picks up 26 points. There was a gap. There was a point between the two of them in the standings. So it's going to be 7 points coming into the last 3 races. Scuba's also going to close as well, but he's only going to close by 2 points, so it's not going to make too much of a life. I think at the moment now Kelsper's going to be out of the running for the championship, so it's going to be pretty much a 3-car shootout. But Scuba's going to need to hope Matt and Beastas have absolute 2 shotgun races. But at the moment Beastas still has the advantage with 7 points covering him and Matt. It's going to be, as I said, I think it's going to come down to the last race of the season, which is in Brazil. So we'll see Coutinho won the game, gets driver of the day. But to be fair, I kind of have to agree with Timo on this one. You can't go past Captain Chubbs. The man went from P6 up to win the race and didn't even get a penalty, and he beat the likes of Beastas, Scuba, Matt, Gamer Paco, Kevin. He beat everybody. So for me, I would have to overrule that and go for Chubbs for driver of the day. Absolutely fantastic. So Chubbs does take the win. Scuba second. Beastas had actually a 10-second penalty. Quite strange. I think it was only a 5-second penalty, but it was just because the game just says 10 seconds, but it was a 5-second penalty. He probably asked to get that removed as well because of the contact, which he might get it removed, so he might actually still finish P2. It'll be down to what the stewards think. Finishes P3 at the moment. P4 Gamer Paco, P5 Adam, P6 Matt, P7 Coutinho, P8 Maxtev. All credit him for turning up. Went from P16 to P8. Hope he enjoyed it. I know he was pretty much nowhere throughout the whole race, but still good for him to come in. I really do appreciate it. Wesker P9, Defchip P10. He made a few mistakes, but to be fair, his pace did look pretty strong. He said he was going to get smashed by everybody, but I definitely don't think he gets smashed. P10 he finished. Funky Chicken finished P11. Did actually classify. I think Kevin wasn't in this car, so I don't think he would get classified. Then Matter P13, Dobby 14, P15 for Yarham, 16th for Kelsper, and Merck. All them boys DNF'd. So as I said before, there was actually no big incidents between everybody. The racing was actually pretty good. It was just people either spun or clipped the curb in sort of instance, and that was pretty much it. So yeah, boys. Devchip, no problem, man. You're welcome back anytime. Same with you, Max Dev. Anybody that's watching from anything, or you're all welcome. If you're ever up for a Friday night race, just on ahead. Hope you enjoy it, because it is a good bit of crack, and it is quite competitive as well, and I'm always open for it. If you ever want to come in, just just message me and let me know, and I'll get you in. But yeah, boys, thank you everybody for that has watched. I hope you all did enjoy it. And yes, let me just actually double check the track for next week so we can keep an eye on it. Where we at? I'm on the wrong chat. So the track next week is going to be Spain, and then we're going to have Bahrain and the finale in Brazil. So yes, that's going to be it from me. I am Daniel Morris, and most of you haven't heard my voice because some of you from FTL I haven't spoke before. So yeah, this is what I sound like. I'm proper Irish, so yeah, gonna have to deal with it. Hopefully you can understand me anyway. But yes, thank you very much for watching, boys. It's been a pleasure, and the race from everybody tonight was very good from everybody, so I'm really glad for all the drivers that turned up. Hope they all enjoyed it as well, and hope you all enjoyed it watching as well. Hope you can join me again next week. I might have someone with me, might have Graham with me next week if he's not tired or if he's not busy. He might come in with me as well next week, so hopefully, fingers crossed, you might have someone else in the box with me as well. But that is it from me. Thank you very much. It'll be Spain next week, 8 o'clock Friday. See you all then.